Hi, my name is Brooke Lounsbury, and I'm a registered nurse. And originally, I was going to be doing and focusing this series with the general public in mind. But the more I thought about it, the more I think that nurses need support and education in this field. So I'm going to go ahead and focus on you the nurse. What I want to do is educate and empower you on the effects of man-made radiation, and knowing that you are on the front line and you probably see things that a lot of other people don't see. Nurses' aides, they all see things that many people, many different professions in the medical field won't see, because you're the ones that have your hands on with them, with your patients. A little bit about myself. It goes back about 4 years ago when we bought a home that we thought we were going to be staying in forever. It was a beautiful home that overlooked the Palouse foothills and had sweeping views and a large yard, and it was everything that we ever wanted. We loved to garden, and I thought that we were going to be staying there. It was going to be our forever home. However, as time went on, fast forward about 2.5 years ago, I started having symptoms, and I work at home, and I do a lot of my consulting through digestive health, and I write for a online publication called Pedagogy, and so I'm home a lot, and I was getting sick. My word recall was going away, my thyroid, I have Hashimoto's, my autoimmune was acting up for no apparent reason. I had extreme anxiety. I couldn't sleep. I hurt everywhere, and I had no reason for this. I was taking excellent care of myself. I had profound weakness. I used to be able to ride my bike, and I wasn't able to ride my bike. I couldn't even push it up the hill to our house. This was debilitating. It ended up being where I wasn't able to work, especially with the lack of word recall and the pain and the brain fogginess that I was having and anxiety. Well, being a researcher, I looked into this and kept coming up with EMF poisoning, or electromagnetic frequency poisoning, or radiation poisoning, man-made. And I thought, nah. And finally, I told my husband, when you're home, I just need to get away from the house. I think it's something in the house. And so we would leave, and about a half hour later, I started feeling better. The longer we were away from the home, the better I felt. So then I went back to the home, and within 2 hours, I was back to feeling horrible. I laid around. It's just not me to be like that. I like to be outside, out and about, and it completely crippled my life. Well, finally, I bought a cheap meter off of Amazon. I broke down and bought one. I don't recommend the cheap meters, but it did give me an idea that there was some high radiation in either the house or something. I couldn't figure out what it was. Then one day I was in my office and I looked up, and the water tower that was about 1,000 feet from our house had gone from 2 cell phone towers attached to it to, my husband had counted 23, and they were beaming from that right through to our house to the college town that's 7 miles away. And after that, I thought, I've had enough, and I found a company that I work with now. I never thought that I'd be doing this, but I am. I'm a geovital consultant, and they're a naturopathic clinic out of Austria with a 37-year track record of mitigating EMF exposure. When they found out that man-made exposure to radiation was causing their patients to not get all the way well. So essentially, you being on the front line, the tide needs to shift to some awareness about this, that there is a difference. FCC does not take human health into consideration. that the FCC guidelines are for what's called ionizing or heat-producing radiation and not non-ionizing radiation. That if you look around for even a cursory reports, you can find thousands of online publications showing the effects of EMFs on the body, namely radio frequency, dirty electricity in the walls, the lines outside your home, that kind of thing. What we ended up having to do was move, because the type of electricity on top of the high radio frequency, which actually was out of this world. When I got my meters, I'm going to go back to that. When I got my meters, it should only read around 30 to 100 ideally. It was over 10,000. And you won't know it. It's colorless, it's odorless. You don't even realize it, that it's that high. On top of it all, there was another kind of electricity that we couldn't get away from, and you can't mitigate, you can't solve. So we had to make the decision, and I made my realtor aware of what it was. I showed him the meters, so nobody can say that I didn't. And also I felt an obligation that if somebody else was going to come into that home when we put it up for sale, that they would know. We ended up buying a motorhome and parking it 35 miles out of town in a logging town, and my health dramatically got better. And that's what just led me to going to GeoVital and the whole other thing. I went to Austria and became a consultant. Let's go back now. I'm bouncing all over the place. I'm sorry. I'm just going to get this out there today so that you guys can start looking into these things on your own. I wanted to mention that melatonin is dramatically decreased with Wi-Fi radiation, or like your Wi-Fi router, anything that transmits, your phone. If your Wi-Fi is on and your melatonin is dropping, you have some real issues with getting into a deep sleep where your body rejuvenates itself. I wrote an article on my site about antibiotic resistance and how it may be related to the Wi-Fi routers. So you might want to take a look at that. They've shown an increase of different types of cancer, diabetes, and especially neuropsychiatric illnesses. Somebody comes in, they're anxious, and why are they anxious? What could they be doing? What could you be counseling them on to do at home that could be free and easy? And see if that helps too, on top of whatever the provider is that you're working with. So those are just a few of the topics. We're going to go into dirty electricity and what that's about. I am active on different forums with the 5G and the 5G rollout, and doing this and being responsible with our technology. I don't want our technology to go away, but I want us to learn to work with it. But the rampant mystery illnesses that we're seeing in the clinical setting are something that need to really be addressed. So go ahead and subscribe to this channel and share it. I will be posting, I've got one video that I've already done on antibiotic resistance, and I'll post that. And I'm going to give a little primer on what dirty electricity is, what man-made radiation is compared to the natural background, as they call it, or natural radiation. So just stick with me here and we'll get through this together. I believe this is a topic that has been overlooked way too long. I am in the process of writing a course for nurses, for nurse credits on EMFs, and hopefully you'll be able to get some really good high quality information out of that. Anyway, thank you for listening this long if you have, and I'll be talking with you soon. Leave comments in the bottom. I do screen comments, and if you want to get a hold of me, I'll have my email address and my website down below. Thank you.